Hey guys, Chris the Midwest Bass Hunter, and I want to show you guys a bunch of soft plastics that I bought. All right guys, you know me, I love fishing tackle. I buy way more than I need. I buy all kinds of stuff that, you know, I have just a diverse mix of stuff, and sometimes it hurts me. I have one package of something and I don't have another package of it, and they're eating it. So I get myself into that trouble, but I just love tackle. I love lures, and I'm always looking for some stuff that's interesting and I want to try it. So I've got some classics here that I'm going to show you guys today, and then maybe a couple that are new. Really, actually nothing here is new to me maybe. Stuff I haven't tried. I think almost everything I have here is something that I haven't specifically tried. So yeah, we'll get right into it. I picked these up. I seen these actually at a Walmart. I'd never seen this bait before. It's a Strike King Rage Scound Bug, and it's just a little craw. It's be a good jig trailer, or you can just fish it on its own on a Texas rig or Carolina rig or something like that, but it's hard to get open. All right guys, here we go. Nothing too fancy. It's 3.5 inch craw. It's got you know, not too bulky. I kind of like that. It's not super bulky, and it has the pinchers. The pinchers are real thin, but they have the little scoops on the end of the pinchers, so they're gonna flap like crazy in the water. And then got some little appendages here, little legs on them, and there we go. That is a good little bait. It'd be good on a jig. The thing I like about this, it's not a real big bait, but you could use this on a larger jig. It's long enough. It's 3.5 inches, or you could actually cut it off here and use it on a smaller jig, a more compact jig, and it would work pretty good for both. Pretty versatile. The other thing you could do, you could use this as a punch bait. It's nice and slender and would work good for punching. You could actually just tear these little legs off and really streamline this sucker, and it would go through a mat really, really well. So I don't remember what these cost. I think they're like $3.99, nothing too crazy. There's 5 in a pack here. I'm putting this one back. Of course, like everything these days, it's in one of these bubble packs or blister packs, whatever you want to call it, which are great for keeping the baits in good shape, but they're a pain in the butt to store, especially in a boat or in your backpack if you're fishing from the bank. They take up a lot more space. I'm not the kind of guy that takes my soft plastics and puts them in a hard box, you know, like a box like this. I don't do that. I typically keep them in the bag. So I don't know, it is what it is. Everyone's going to these packages, so you just gotta deal with it. All right, next we have some more from Strike King, the Gurgle Toad. I've never picked these up. Good gravy. Jeez, their labeling is like really stout. I had to rip it all to pieces. This is a topwater. Well, it's probably not a topwater. It's not a floating topwater, but it's something you would put on a buzz bait. So, or you could just throw it on a Texas rig or a frog hook, and you're gonna buzz this across the top of the water. Or if you put it on a buzz bait, it'll be just below the surface. Got like the curly tail legs on it. Yeah, so that's gonna be a pretty classic bait, really. It's got that coffee smell that the Strike King baits have. So I got these in like a 3-pack. This is something I also seen at a Walmart, so I picked them up. 3 3/4 inches. They call it a Gurgle Toad. Obviously this is black. A 3-pack of them. I think they were pretty cheap for a 3-pack. I'm sure you can get these in a bag as well. This is just what I saw these at a Walmart, and actually they had a little display set up with some buzz baits and with some of these. They kind of go hand in hand. In a little box like this. I also got some white ones. Oh wait, these are different. Oh, these are Super Toads. Now I have used these before. If I can get this dang package open. Good packaging. All right, so this is a similar bait. I actually thought these were the same as the other ones when I bought them. But this is called a Super Toad, and it has paddle tail legs. This is actually a great lure. I've used these for a while now. They're great, like same deal, put them on a buzz bait, put them on a Texas rig, or use one of those frog hooks. The other thing I like to do with these is kind of a little sneaky trick. Take a chatterbait that either A, the skirt's worn out on, or take the skirt off and put this on it and fish that thing right below the surface. It really darts around and it looks good. And that you could do that with any kind of toad like this. Doesn't just have to be this paddle tail one, but it works great. I like it. All right, guys, next from Strike King again, more Strike King. Quite a bit of Strike King stuff here. This is my last Strike King item. This is a caffeine shad, and it is a fluke style bait. I got one out here. So it's a soft jerk bait or a fluke, traditional like Zoom fluke. This is Strike King's version of that. It's a, what is it, 6-inch bait? 5-inch bait. Comes in a package of 8. And these are great little jerk baits. What I like about it, I like to fish them. This is one of the baits, one of the only baits here that I've used before, but I like to fish these weightless. Just Texas rig them, put like a 4 or 5/0 hook in there, Texas rig them, cast it out, let it sink, twitch like a jerk bait, and kind of, you can run them. You can let it sink all the way to the bottom. It takes a little while, but I kind of let them sink for a couple seconds, 3-4 seconds, and then just kind of twitch it below the surface. And this thing just dances around. You just twitch, pause, and this thing just darts all over the place. It looks so amazing. I don't know how it doesn't get bit on every cast. The other thing, if you just reel this thing, you cast it out and just kind of reel it, slow reel it, or reel it, pause, and even burn it. This tail just darts, and this tail just like swims. It's almost like a paddle tail swim bait. Really versatile bait and a lot of fun to fish. So if you're not using a fluke or some version of it, you need to. It's fun. Caffeine shad. So I got those in a pearl color, so that's that white color, and I also got them in this color. This is smoky shad, and obviously it's a shad imitation bait. I live in Nebraska. We don't have a lot of lakes that shad is the primary forage, but I do fish the Missouri River system, and there's a bunch of shad in there, so it's a good, it's definitely a good bait for that. I know that people use flukes a lot during like the shad spawn. I've never had the opportunity to experience a shad spawn, so I don't really know, but it's something that you can cast it really far and fish it weightless, and man, it's a blast to fish. Now I grabbed another fluke style bait. This is a Yamamoto, and what do they call this thing? Well, they call it a D-shad. Yamamoto D-shad. And I've never used these before. And I don't know, Yamamoto was sold recently. And I don't know if this is a new bait or if this is something they've always had. But this is a little bit shorter, I think, than the caffeine shad. I think it listed as a 5-inch bait, though. But you can see it's a similar design, just a little bit different. And obviously, just like the caffeine shad, this is a super heavy bait for the size that it is. You can fish it weightless and cast it on a bait caster, no problem. Obviously, cast it on a spinning rod real good. You can do some different stuff with this too. Another use for this type of bait is a good chatterbait trailer. It works good on a chatterbait, gives that a bulkier package, but it doesn't. Like a paddle tail swim bait kind of fights the action of the chatterbait. This just kind of goes with it and has a lot of action in the tail. So, and this tail is a little different. It's got kind of a, I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. It's got kind of a diamond shape. It's hard to see. And then it's got like a little keel on the bottom there. So that's gonna swim really good. Water's gonna flow around that and really make it dart around. So I got a couple different colors. I went with the pearl white again. I do like white. I use white all the time. And then this is called olive shad, but this would be a good, you know, baby bass imitation, even maybe a bluegill imitation. So anything green and white is gonna catch fish. So there you go, Yamamoto D shad. Got a couple bags of them. All right, now we're gonna move on to just one pack of these big swim baits. I've been really having a lot of good success in the last couple years with paddle tail swim baits, mostly in the 3 to 4 inch or 3 to 5 inch range. So I got some bigger ones. These are the Tournament Series Bass Pro Shops No Limit Shad, and they call this Speed Shad. Oh, Speed Shad, no limits, it says. Speed Shad. Pearl color, obviously. White's a great color anywhere. And this is a 6-inch bait. Pop it open and check it out. That is a pretty substantial bait. You know, you think, actually I got like a mag draft right here. Here's a mag draft, and here's this bait. You know, they're kind of equivalents in size. So, you know, if you're fishing this mag draft and get around some heavy cover, doesn't work with the hook, you can pull one of these out and Texas rig it and fish it in the same area. You can also put this on a jig head, you know, with the hook, open hook. Just depends on what your cover is. But, you know, Bass Pro Shops baits, they're inexpensive compared to other brands, and I don't see any reason why this baby shouldn't work really nicely. Big old paddle tail on that sucker. So we're gonna throw that around and see what'll bite it. This, you know, here's the other thing too. This is really not a big bait. I mean, it might seem like a big bait, and certainly I would say a few years ago I would definitely say this is a big bait for me. But I've really been proven wrong on that. Last year I was in a tournament on Lake Francis Case in South Dakota, and I caught a 3-pound smallmouth. So a 3-pound smallmouth isn't a really big fish, but it's a good smallmouth. It's a really good smallmouth. But you know, it's a smallmouth. They got a tiny little mouth, and you would think, you know, they would probably target smaller prey. Well, I actually caught it on a jerk bait too, like this. I caught this 3-pound smallmouth on a tiny little jerk bait. And when I was reeling that fish in, it puked up like a 9-inch shad, like an 8 or 9-inch shad. It threw up when I was fighting him. So this is not, it's not a big bait, guys. It's not. Largemouth bass will eat this thing all day long. I mean, a 10-incher will eat this thing. But a smallmouth too will eat this bait. So, you know, get some of them bigger baits, try them out, experiment with them. They're fun to throw. I think you have a better chance catching a bigger fish. You might get less bites, but I mean, they'll eat it. All right, guys, gonna move into some Zoom. What are these called? Split tail trailers. So this is a trailer. This is actually a 20-pack. I got these for use on spinnerbaits as well as chatterbaits. It's just a small split tail bait. It's like a grub without a curly tail. It's got a split tail. And these are designed to run as spinnerbait trailers, buzzbait trailers, chatterbait trailers, any kind of trailer. That's kind of what they're there for. The split tail, just, you know, it's a thin piece of plastic, so it's going to have a lot of action. It's going to follow the action of the bait. And I like to use these if I'm going to use a trailer. I typically don't use a trailer on a spinnerbait, but I have started to do it a little bit more lately. But I like something subtle like this. I don't want to put a bigger bait on there, and I don't want to put a paddle tail swim bait on there for sure. I mean, you can do that, and I've done it before and it works, but I like something that doesn't kind of mess with the action of the bait from the blades, and especially with the chatterbait. Although I've done that a ton in the past, you know, and it works. But the other thing about this, you could fish this as a little drop shot bait, and it'd work pretty good for that. So I got 2 bags of these, These Zoom plastics, they're pretty reasonably priced. I think that these bags are maybe like $5. Got the chartreuse, and then I, of course, got the white color. And these are a little bit longer than those ones there. Boom. All right, guys, more from Zoom. I got some Magnum UV speed worms. And if you know anything about a speed worm, it's a big worm with a little tail on it that is just designed to just thump in the water and move real, just really swim in the water. This is not a bait that's designed for fishing on the bottom. This is a bait that's designed for swimming. So something I've never used before, really don't know why. I mean, these are designed to fish around grass. This is kind of a Florida standard, right? If you're fishing in Florida, you're using a speed worm, but not something I've ever done up here, you know, in Nebraska or Iowa, which doesn't really make sense because we got a lot of grass. So this really would work perfectly in the area I have up here. So something I'm going to try and fish this summer when the grass really gets good, and just, you know, you just throw it on a Texas rig and you can put a little weight up front. I think you could probably fish it weightless. Obviously it's heavy bait, you can cast it. I just don't know how they sink. I don't know if it will sink down or if it will just kind of float, or it might not work for you. You probably need to put like a 1/4 ounce or a 3/16 or even a little heavier weight up front just to keep it down a little bit. So this is kind of known as big fish bait. So yeah, I'm excited to go out there and try it. And I got a couple different colors. I got this June bug color. That's the one I was showing you there. It's kind of a purple and green. And then I got, of course, the classic green pumpkin, which is an excellent, you know, bluegill imitator. So there we go, guys. Just some soft plastics I picked up. Just wanted to show them to you and tell you about them. Love getting new lures, love trying new stuff, and there's some new ones there for me to check out and give them a shot. All right, guys, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit that little bell down there so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.